Welcome back to Demon of the Week, and today we're looking at the 30th spirit of the Goetia, Forneus.
Welcome to my channel. You are entering the world of magic and mysticism with your host, Lee W. Johnson. Keep the lights on and help improve the channel by becoming a supporter for just $2.99 per month. Hit the join button.
Alright, so Forneus. There's not a lot to speak about with Forneus, and quite frankly, a bit of a repeat of some of the other spirits. But Forneus might be one that, if you're a beginner, you might want to work with. I'll explain why just now. But to start with, let's do all the usual, the correspondences. Date is January 10 to 19. Direction north. Tarot, Four of Pentacles. Planet moon. Metal silver. Element water. Color violet. Plant. Sunflower, incense jasmine. Zodiac is 20 to 30 degrees Capricorn. And there aren't any other correspondences that picked up. And the N is Senan, Okat, Ena, Forneus, Ayo. Okay, so starting with the Goetia, appeareth in the form of a great sea monster. He teacheth and maketh man wonderfully knowing in the art of rhetoric. He causeth men to have a good name and to have the knowledge and understanding of tongues. He maketh one to be beloved of his foes as well as his friends. Now, what you'll find is there's a lot of mention, in the Goetia itself, there's mention of Forneus being a mighty and great marquis. In other texts, he's listed as a fallen angel, and belonging to the heavenly orders of throne and angels. Now, this could be a possible misinterpretation from the Goetia, and I'm referring to Crowley's version of the Goetia, because in there it says governs 29 legions of spirits, partly of the order of thrones and partly that of angels. So I think it's probably referring to the 29 legions of spirits that Forneus governs, and not Forneus himself. However, some texts do refer to him as being a fallen angel and such things. So he has a very gentle nature. So quite good to use if you are starting out with calling the spirits. But the mention of the great sea monster. Now, this reminds me very much of Leviathan, because Leviathan, this is a personal thing. When I interact with Leviathan usually presents as a gentle old man, like a fatherly figure. But Leviathan, if you upset him by going after his children or whatever it may be, if you really piss him off, as some sorts of people will do, then he will turn into that great sea monster. The grotesque, flailing, huge big sea monster that we often refer to or often see when we think of Leviathan, from a biblical sense, really. But yeah, Leviathan himself always comes through as that gentle fatherly figure. So I think you probably find it's very similar with Forneus, if not the same. Let's just have a look at some other things. Connolly just says, invoke to influence others to favour you, and before legal battles to get favourable results. So if you have anything court case related that you want to work on, then Forneus might be a good one. There's a lot of other little tips and tricks you can do in terms of court cases and legal battles and things like that throughout various different traditions. Hoodoo's a very good one to look into for that. But you might want to call Forneus just for a little bit of assistance in the legal battles. Now, in the Goetia ritual, this is where it comes back to referring to Forneus being a fallen angel. It says, for each order respectively, he was responsible for the welfare of mankind and mediated the divine's authority and justice. Therefore, said to be easy to work with and very open in his approach, becomes the sea monster when upset, much like Leviathan. I think that was my addition there, actually. So, yeah, as I was mentioning just now, very easy to work with because of the aspect of being a fallen angel. I mean, there's some speculation that he's trying to get back to being an angelic being, trying to get back into those ranks. I haven't spoken to Forneus myself, so I'm not really sure, but that's what other people are saying. So, because of that aspect, because of that nature, he is very easy to work with. The Goetia ritual also goes on to say in relation to... this is in relation to causeth men to have a good name, etc., etc., etc. The Goetia ritual says, makes one wonderfully knowledgeable in the arts of rhetoric and sophistry to win arguments and outwit opponents. So if you, coming back to the legal battles, if you're in a court case situation, or any legal bind really, you can call on Forneus to help you. He will bring you into favour with friends and foes. So you have that aspect, and as it says in here, in the Goetia ritual, win arguments and outwit opponents, which is obviously what you want in a courtroom. So apart from everything else, I would say very good to use in cases, in court cases, in battles in the courtroom, and all forms of legal battles, because you can win over your opponent and outwit your opponent. So very good for that. Alright, and that's really it for Forneus. So another quick one today, not like last week with Astaroth. So let's have a look what we're doing next week. Who for us is up next week. So we'll talk about that one then. Alright, so have a good weekend and everything else, and I'll see you next week. Cheers for now. Bye bye.